Well, this is certainly another beautiful day in Florida. It's supposed to start cooling off a little bit the rest of this week. Tiny bit. Nice low humidity. Standing right here in the shade by the Christmas tree. And nice little breeze going. Pretty much perfect weather. This is the time of year to be in Florida now. Going into the end of November, going through the winter. It's gonna be nice. My wife is coming back home from the Philippines next Thursday night. And I don't know, we got this other tropical storm brewing up down in the Caribbean. Depending on which path that ultimately takes. I hope that doesn't have too much impact on things here. Let's see what happens. But speaking of Florida, you know, you always hear people saying, you know, don't California my Florida, don't California my Texas, don't California my Tennessee. You know, all these people moving from California to get away from all the bad problems there and the high taxes and the crazy things going on and the homeless people taking over the streets and all the craziness like that, you know, and they move to these other states and locals are like, well, don't move here to our state and then screw it up by voting for the same kind of politicians that ruined yours where you just came from, you know. But now it looks like Donald J. Trump is getting ready to Florida the rest of the country. Got looks like, at least where it stands right now, the rumor is he's going to nominate Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. He's got Representative Waltz as a National Security Advisor or something like that. So who knows? It looks like the people of Florida may be getting ready to be turned loose on the rest of the country, you know? It's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. But I don't know, for me personally, I find it to be a nice change of pace from all this other stuff, from having to go the opposite direction. I remember back during COVID, my wife and I were over in Destin one time, and standing there, you know, right there by the water there, the Margaritaville. We were waiting for our table. I heard some lady from up north somewhere talking to someone on the phone, and she's like, yeah, nobody's wearing masks or anything down here. It's just like totally different, you know. Obviously there were times where maybe some masking up would have been good, but still, just the idea of just not having the government totally destroy your livelihood and the way things are going. It worked out pretty well for Florida at the time, so can't complain. Better than having, you know, like that governor from Michigan and people like that coming down here and making us do things their way, you know. So I personally don't mind the idea of having a little bit of Florida imposed on the rest of the country. Like I say, I'm not a huge fan of Donald Trump personally, you know, but in terms of policy, I think it'll be a lot better in some ways, especially the things that really got him elected, you know, which is the craziness at the border and just letting people pour in here without any kind of regulation, you know, totally abusing our asylum laws and so forth as a backdoor to try and make it look like they're here legally. I saw a really good video from oh my God, what's his name? The guy on CNN. Had the video talking about how the Democrats screwed up. You know, one of their main problems was, first of all, like the lawfare. going overboard, trying to get rid of their political opponent. And a lot of the people in the country, really, I was never one to feel super sympathetic for Donald Trump. But watching all that stuff go on and seeing these politicians, these DAs, like the one girl in New York that her only purpose in life was to go after Donald Trump. That's how she got elected. And people dredging up cases where the statute of limitations had long expired, even if there was a case, and then trying to rework it into some kind of a federal thing just to go after him, to keep him from being able to try and run from office. That was their whole goal. People saw that and they felt sympathy for Donald Trump, Like I say, I was never one of those people who thought, well, if they can do it to him, they can do it to the rest of us. I always knew they could do it to the rest of us. So it's not like I was feeling super sorry for the guy necessarily, but obviously to see how badly those people were abusing their positions just to try and go after him, it does make you not feel very sympathetic toward them either, And certainly the border situation, letting all these people come into our country. Our asylum laws were never meant just to be used to let millions of people come in here when they obviously were not really asylum seekers and were in no serious threat of religious persecution or something back home. Those laws were totally abused by the Democrats to just flood this country with people and let them start being taken care of by our tax dollars. And pretty overwhelmingly, people all across this country showed that they're just not into that. I can't believe that one guy today just totally suddenly slipped my mind. The one guy at CNN has that, what's that? Fareed Zakaria. Yeah, he is one of the people that I've always kind of respected and liked. Very rational points of views on a lot of things, And so I was interested watching that video from him the other day. And I think he hit it right on the head, But now the rest of the country is going to have a chance to have Florida imposed on them. I'm looking forward to it, kind of. I'm hoping that in the aftermath of all this crap, aftermath of the election, that Donald Trump is going to prove himself to be focused on just taking care of the country and not just trying to get revenge on people. That's my hope, That's the one thing that kind of turned me off of him in this last cycle. He was saying the right things for a while, talking about how the country didn't need to have him going after his opponents. But then, I don't know if it was just to rev up his base or the Fox News host and stuff, starts talking like, well, yeah, I'd be justified in it. And then he starts, putting out all these tweets all the time, going after all these people and locking up all these people that he thinks have slighted him. And that's what turned me off of him in this election. From a policy perspective, I'm down with what he wants to do for the most part, Certainly in terms of what it's going to mean for the Supreme Court, Second Amendment issues and so forth, I certainly have no arguments about it. Trying to stop this invasion of our country by people who are here illegally and violating our laws, that needs to be done. So we'll see how it all works out. I'm just hoping that all that stuff turns out to be just nonsense that he had to say just to keep certain elements of the base riled up or whatever. I'm hoping he will focus on doing things for us as the American people instead of pursuing all kinds of stupid, nonsense, childish, idiotic revenge, As long as he does that, then I will be very happy with the way that things worked out. If he just wastes the next 4 years you know, like some spoiled little infant going after people that he doesn't like, or people who were disloyal to him, then he's going to be a major historical disappointment, you know? I'm hoping this time he can prove that he can act like a president and really have a little bit of dignity, you know? And I think with the vindication that I know he feels, you know, and this time he didn't just get the Electoral College. He didn't just squeak out a little win in the Electoral College. He got the popular vote, and people are ready to see these problems get taken care of. The vast majority of people in this country, they want more of what Florida has, you know? They want to not be told how transphobic and stupid shit like that they are, just because they know what a man is and what a woman is. Just because they don't want, you know, men pretending they're girls playing in women's sports and stuff like that, you know? That's not the kind of shit that normal people want to have to deal with. So hopefully, maybe having a little bit of Florida imposed on the rest of the country will work out good. I hope so. Maybe it's just this wonderful weather, but I'm feeling pretty optimistic about things.